saw a meme one time that said, maybe not having money isn't your problem. Maybe you just suck at being poor. Carrie and I have done everything that we've done out here with basically no money, and I'm proud of that. To any problem, there are dozens of solutions, and money is just one of them. So if being poor is a skill, in this series, I'm gonna master it.
Crammed like sardines into our house at the moment.
There's some materials. Pretty good looking cut right there. Let's break ground.
There's gotta be a better way.
So what we live in now is modest, to say the least. Good old buddy.
It's a bit of a fixer-upper.
There she is. But how we got it, I think, is a pretty interesting story. This last storm we had did a number on the siding.
You know, the house keeps us dry. It's good shelter. But is it pretty? No.
That was from a tree branch when I drove it up here. I was driving down a backcountry road and I saw a guy about to tear down a single-wide mobile with a backhoe, which broke the window.
There's so much work that needs to be done and space that needs to be made and additions.
Notice the custom duct tape. So I pulled into his property and I ran up and said, hey, if I could save you all the work involved in cleaning up the mess you're about to make and maybe trade you something, do you think I could have this? And he's like, sure, but it's got to be gone in 2 weeks. I ran this corner into a tree trying to get it up the hill.
I would like to think of myself as a very warm and inviting person, and I would love to have people over and visit and have, you know, a dinner party and some fun things like that. And it's just not very pretty.
That window was broken by thieves, and that's gaffer tape. That's different than duct tape. And so I did a little bit of electrical work for him, hooked up his solar, and Carrie gave his wife music lessons, piano lessons for a few months. And that was what we traded them for the house. That broken section was where I ran it into another tree trying to get it up the hill. We've done little things here and there to try and fix it up. You know, we fixed up the kitchen and we made concrete countertops and built some cabinets and redid the kitchen floor with ancient redwood slats that I cut into floorboards. This is where I got it high-centered, trying to get it up the hill and had to jack the back end of the house up 7 feet with a bottle jack. But there's always been this conflict about whether we should fix up the house or build a new house. That conflict that we have in that subject has basically caused it so that nothing improved for a lot of the years that we've been out here. That was the tree that I ran that corner into. Mid-1980s mobile home that's pretty beat up, especially on the outside. Not because I ran it into several trees trying to get it up the hill. Here's the remnants of another tree I ran it into.
It might just be a way better use of our time and resources to build from scratch.
She's been a fine home. There is a reason why he was going to tear it down. You know, there's 7 of us, so us being in a single wide, 720 square feet, I'm running into people. We only have 1 bathroom. It's just not ideal.
Our house right now is a bit of like the musical chairs game. During the really nice seasons out here, everyone's outside. There's plenty of space. But when it's really, really cold out, we're all inside. And having just come out of winter, it's pretty fresh. I don't want to do that again.
Having a contractor come in and build, I mean, that's like it costs between $100 and $200 per square foot, which means 1,000 square foot house could cost anywhere between $100,000 to $200,000, and that's only 300 more square feet than we have right now. And we don't have the resources to be spending that kind of money. I'm not taking out a loan. I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff. But I've watched a bunch of YouTube. I've probably consumed 300 hours of content just on people building stuff out of rocks. We got rocks. We have tons of sand. Sand is like 2/3 of concrete. We got trees that we can make lumber out of and build whatever we want out of it.
You know, when we first moved out here, Jason was like, I could do anything, I could build anything. Yeah, it's no problem at all. And, you know, sometimes he's a bit overconfident.
She said, I'm what? Overconfident? At least you didn't say I was overcompensating. Then there's this. This is the infamous site of the... Carrie leveled all of this stuff out.
Sure did.
Yep.
Got this ready 12 years ago.
Yeah. We're gonna build a dome earth ship in this area here. We started stuffing those tires right there. Those 3 tires. They've been left as a monument to why earth ships won't work in sand, because the more you fill the tire, the more the sand just pushes out the bottom of it. And so it's now a lovely planter with some beautiful turf.
So natural.
It's so natural.
It makes it also a little bit scary too.
I'm not gonna say that I could do anything. I'm not crazy, but other people have built houses. I think that I could figure out how to build a house.
I love the idea of building with stone. We have mountains of them, literally.
See, there's this area, which, I mean, really would be kind of perfect for building because it's all flat and not really much to do to clear the land. The road's right there, and with all of the additional traffic from the jazz cabbage growers, we'd be dealing with a bunch of extra dust and traffic going by. And
I don't see any reason why we won't be able to figure it out.
all right, so building a house out here is going to be very, very difficult. We're going to have to do all of these different things just to get to the point where we have materials to build with. So each one of those things is going to take figuring out how to process things in a way that is efficient enough to actually make this worth it, you know? Then there's this area, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. It's pretty flat. There'd be some definite work that would need to be done. But you know, we had that idea about building with rocks.
Yeah.
And if we built it like from over there, straight across to over there, half of the rock wall's already there. Oh yeah. Look at that. All over the world, there's houses that were built 2,000-3,000 years ago, and the rock portion of those houses is still standing. And I've got one very important tool that our ancestors 2,000 to 3,000 years ago didn't have: YouTube. So it's potential. The only problem I can kind of foretell is we're probably going to want to do 2 stories, and if we do that, our second story is going to be looking at a jazz cabbage farm. Those rocks are beautiful though. They've got this gorgeous lichen on them. It's like a rock patina, but yeah, that view is striking. Is it going to be hard? Yeah, it's going to be super hard. Really, it's just going to be hard work. I'm pretty sure that the biggest investment that we're going to make in this project is going to be deposited in sweat. And I have hyperperspirated since I was a teenager. Now this is pretty amazing because you have that same view in that direction, and then you've got the view of the mountains in that direction, and then the big mountain over there. It's really well blocked off from all of the wind. You know, there's like kind of structure around this part of the property. Yeah, I think I'll come back out here during the day and like look at what the possibilities would be here. Maybe that could be the parking spot right there. Have a little parking ledge. And we pull up and we just have this beautiful view before we get out of the car and go in and listen to all the different wonderful, beautiful, totally worth it noises that the kids make. What do you think?
You know, if we get it done rapidly, there'll still be young children. And those sounds will happen.
It's true. But if we take our time...
Then we'll have a nice big old house with no noise at all.
Yeah.
It'll be sad and empty.
So what sort of a house do I think we're going to build? I don't really know, but I have some ideas. What we really need is more space. I'm thinking a footprint of 40 by 32. I want a 4-inch concrete slab with a 2 by 2 footer to support the weight of the walls. We're going to build the main walls out of our local stone. The walls are going to be 2 foot thick at the bottom and then taper up to 16 inches at the top to get the appropriate slope for the stone walls, and that's code here. Yoink. The interior is going to have a kitchen, pantry, bathroom, 2 bedrooms, and a front room. And I'm going to do supports for the second story out of exposed beams that I'll mill out of the trees from the area. Now, for the second story, let's go with log cabin style, although I may change my mind on that. I want the stairs to land on a catwalk that'll be open to the living room with 2 bedrooms and the master suite that opens to a balcony. I have a little place right here for me to do editing, our bed, a little dressing area, and a bathroom. That should give us the space we need. I haven't decided on roof shape yet, but I'm leaning towards single slope, which is best for rainwater collection. I'm gonna make this into blueprints and boom. Greg's your diagnostician. I love this design. And this is a lot flatter of a space. I was thinking I could still build 3 stone walls and excavate all of this building material here. I think this place is gonna work perfectly. It's got access, but it's blocked from the road. See where it's flat up there? It's pretty sheer, and then these are just like crumbled rocks, which I could excavate all these out, and they actually have pretty good interlocking angles. That would turn them pretty quickly into building materials.
I love dreaming up what it will look like in this spot.
God, these rocks are so beautiful and they have so much character to them.
The reality is we have more time than money. So I guess we better get to work.
Now that we've chosen a spot, I say we go for it. Let's break ground.
Yeah, doing our thing, yeah, we make it look easy. Yeah, looking so clean, yeah, we make it look easy. Yeah, doing our thing, yeah, we make it look easy.
Yeah,
Easy,
yeah,
we make it look easy.
yeah. I do what I want. Bring them to the front. Eat them off for lunch. Roll up like a big blunt. You know I'm a stun. Pockets on big lump.
Big long,
And you know I make the show run. Don't try to act like you never seen a real one. Ice water got you frozen. Wetter than the ocean. Baby got motion. How I walk like lit like strobe lights. Baby, I got insight. I be in my own right. Oh, been around the block. Yeah, I'm hot like whoa. Been around the block. Yeah, I do what I do.
yeah, doing our thing, yeah, we make it look easy. Yeah, looking so clean, yeah, we make it look easy. Yeah, doing our thing, yeah, we make it look easy. Easy, we make it look
I pull up to the front, doing what I want. I've been on a long run. You know how I get it done. Black diamonds on me, look like Akon. I done got up off the sofa. Now they open up the door for me, I'm chauffeured. Tailor-made circle, well-rounded, I'm cultured. Love for the game, clip the wings of a vulture. Fly in the rest of them, do it so effortless. When the party begins, you know how I'm stepping in. Easier than doing nothing, how I did it again.
Doing our thing, yeah, we make it look easy.
Yeah, right now.
Looking so clean, yeah, we make it look easy.
And I'm about to do it.
Doing our thing, yeah, we make it look easy.
You know,
Easy.
whoa.
We make it look easy.
Oh my God, this is so much harder than I thought it was gonna be. Okay, I'm not old. Regardless of the fact that my kids refer to me as that geezer who lives here. But this is beating the hell out of my body. It's very possible that my mouth has written a check that my lower back and that spot right between your shoulder blades can't cash. Well, to try and stay as organized as I possibly can in this chaos, what I'm doing is as I pluck rocks out, I am sorting them into size. So these will be foundational rocks, filler rocks back there, and then the actual building rocks. And these are all to the outside of where I'll be trenching for the foundation. And then doing the same on the other side too. But that's a whole lot of rocks for only that much progress. So hopefully I'll be able to get all of the building material rocks from this excavation. The walls will be 2 foot thick at the bottom, up to 16 inches at the top. Do a little quick math, carry the 1. Hopefully that'll be enough. If not, I've got other mountains of rocks to choose from as well.
Doing it the way that we're doing it by hand, 6 months to a year to 2 to fully excavate it by hand, that's too many winters crammed like sardines into our house at the moment.
One of the biggest problems that I'm running into, I'll work an entire day on removing these rocks, and it's like I've made a couple of inches of progress into the side of this hill, and it's really hard to stay motivated when I feel in my back, my legs, and my knees, and my ankles that there should be a lot more progress than what I'm seeing with my eyeballs. And that's discouraging. It's probably going to take a year just to excavate the side of this hill if I'm doing it by hand. I'm not sure I have that in me.
It's so much harder than I anticipated.
Carrie just got a phone call from her brother saying that her dad is in the hospital and he's not doing well. So we stopped everything we were doing. We loaded her up in the car, and she's driving 20 hours out to Colorado to go be with him, just in case. I hope everything goes okay, and keep our fingers crossed that everything works out for the best all around. So now I'm gonna try and continue to make progress on this. There's only so many instruments you can play as a one-man band, even if you use your feet.
Follow this old river down to where the poppies grow, and drink that cool water till I get my fill. And take me out past the mud and rust and all the broken bones, and watch the sun fall down behind the hills. I'm in love with a woman, and she makes me wanna sing a song. I'm in love with a woman, and she makes me wanna build a home.
I've constructed all these different doodads to move these giant rocks around. Some of them are so big I have to break them into multiple pieces so that I can just barely tip the scale at moving one part of the rocks. Got my bucket o' primitive tools, small sledgehammer, and the feathers and wedges. And what these do is force the rock apart and help to separate the big rock into two smaller rocks. You put them in the way you want the rock to split. This is how I've gone about doing it, and it is, like everything else involved in this project, super labor intensive.
Work hard all day, stone by stone for the night to come. There's no sleep like that of tired bones. And rub my hands and whisper to me about tomorrow.
That's a pretty good looking cut right there.
About the kids and the house and how we don't have much, but it's enough.
All jokes aside, I'm not gonna give up on this because this is something that, if for no other reason, I feel like Carrie deserves. She works her butt off.
I'm in love with a woman, she makes me wanna sing a song. I'm in love with a woman, and she makes me wanna build a home.
I really want her to have a space that she feels comfortable in and that she can create in. That's super important to me. So there's a lot of problems with what it is that we're doing, but they're problems that I can solve. I know I can solve those problems. And I do have the right thing motivating me to push through them, which is to give Carrie the life that I think that she deserves. And that I'm 100% certain she would never ask for, which makes it even that much better. I've always kind of like strayed away from this idea because of the financial obligation, but maybe I need a machine. Some way to get the mechanical advantage.
Good evening. Thank you for calling Bay Machinery. This is Wayne in Parts. I'm currently on the phone with another customer. Do you mind holding a moment?
Sure. I'm actually just trying to find out a kind of a ballpark price on a track steer. So they run about $65,000. Good Lord. Oh, $65,000? Hold on, let me check the bank account. All right, there's $12 in there. That'll do. I bet I could rent an excavator big enough to just rip through this in like a week. Let's see how much that would cost. Hey James, I wanted to check and see what it run me to rent the bigger of the two mini excavators you got there. And I'd need it for a week.
Okay. So it'd be $125 an hour for me to deliver it. And it'd be $16.50 for a week. And in a week you get 40 hours.
Yeah, that'd be about right. So it'd probably be about $2,000 then, yeah? $2,000 a week. Hold on. Yep. Still $12. One of the many things that Carrie is very good at is keeping me on track. And for this and a whole lot of other reasons, I miss her. But technically, there is nothing and no one preventing me from going on a side quest. Let's go! You know what I do have though? Several metric tons of scrap metal and an overwhelming motivation to never have to lift another stupid rock ever again. Maybe something could be born of that. So back to Blender, I've put together just kind of a basic idea of some geometry. It's probably gonna look a lot different because when you're using scrap metal, it's like you gotta just build it with what you got. But I can't wait for Carrie to see what I come up with. I'm sure she'll be very excited, and she'll also be like, I guess we're getting sidetracked. No, we're getting track steered. See, I've already worked out the conversation when she gets back. So I started to take stock of my junk pile, and I started cutting up these trailers back here because that was a bunch of good iron to use. Having a skid steer with a Chevy 350 in it sounds kind of cool, and this only has 12,000 miles on it. So it's basically a brand new motor. I'll use some of the hydraulics from this old beat up log splitter. And I figured out a way to use these old tires, which I acquired in a misguided attempt to build an Earthship some decade ago, to make the tracks for the skid steer. But I don't have everything, so I will end up having to buy some stuff. A couple more hydraulic rams, some pumps, hydraulic motors, etc. Well, shoot, there's some materials for this here project. It works!
I'm starting to feel it for real. I can taste it, this feeling. I never believed in me. For all of those times that you wanted, you never confronted the person you thought I could be. Oh my, how I've waited, I've waited, I've waited. I've waited to see where I would go. Alone, away from all the pain and all the love. You know, you'll never let me go. Drive me insane. You 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 drive me insane.
Well, we've started. We figured out where we want to put the house. We've come up with a design for the house. We broke ground on the house. We decided that was going to be too hard to do it by hand, so we started building a skid steer out of scrap metal. This particular adventure is just getting started, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, because I imagine this story is going to get wild by the time we're done telling it. I hope you'll join us next time as we begin the side quest. Okay, I love you. See you next time.